So if you're subscribed to my channel or you watch any of my videos, you'll know that I recently bought this 2024 Sur-Ron Ultra V Black Edition. I've owned it for a couple of weeks now, so I'm just finding my feet with it and working my way around the bike and getting used to it. And so far, I am really impressed. I absolutely love this bike, but there are a couple of things that I'm not too sure on. So in this video, I'm going to go through 5 things that I hate about the Sur-Ron Ultra V Black Edition. Let's jump on the bike and get straight into it. Okay, so let's jump into the first thing that I hate about the Sur-Ron Ultra V, and that is the power and the range that you get with the stock bike. So as stock, it comes with a 74 volt 55 amp hour battery. Now I'm no stranger to a high powered e-bike. I've had 2 previous Sur-Ron Light Bs which are massively heavily modified. I've got one that's a 72 volt 55 amp hour battery with an upgraded Torque TC500 controller, and that bike is dangerously fast. Faster than you'd ever need off-road, but on-road you can really let that thing rip. Yeah, it takes my breath away every time I go out and ride it. My street legal bike has got an 81 volt 50 amp hour battery, again with an upgraded VTB controller, and I call that bike my hyper bike because the top end on that thing is ridiculous, and the speed of which it gets there is just like nothing I've experienced before. So jumping onto the Ultra V, having that much bigger battery as stock, I was probably anticipating a little bit more power. Now when you put this thing into sports mode, it still picks the front wheel up, but you really have to give this bike a lot of pop to get that wheel up. Now obviously we've got other factors playing into this, like the actual size of the bike, the weight of the bike and stuff like that. Maybe I'm just expecting a little bit too much from a stock bike, I don't know. So definitely one of the things we're going to have to do to this bike is add a little bit more power. And that is going to come in terms of a new controller upgrade. Now the controller that I want to go for isn't actually available in the UK at the moment, so that probably gives you a little hint of what I'm looking at. But moving on from the power to the range of the bike. So again, this bike is a 2024 version. It's not massively old, so the battery should be in pretty good condition. And I'm still yet to really take this on a long ride to really see what I can get out of this bike. But just working out simple maths of how much I've drained the battery and how far I've managed to travel, you're probably looking at range realistically on the road of maybe about 30 miles, I reckon. Again, depending on the sort of terrain and the gradient that you're riding. Now moving on to the second thing that I hate about the Sur-Ron Ultra V Black Edition specifically is the fact that when you buy a Black Edition, everything should be black. It's in the name. The handlebars are black, the forks are black, the plastics are black, everything is black. Black Edition. So I have no idea why Sur-Ron has gone ahead and put white parts on a black bike. It makes no sense. So the white parts I'm talking about are where you've got the skid plate at the bottom of the bike that covers the motor. You then have these 2 triangle pieces. I guess you would call these the bash guard mounts. And for some reason, they are the brightest white plastic you can get on a bike. And it makes no sense. They are attached to the black plastic bash guard. So why have they made these mounting pieces white? They just stand out like a sore thumb. It makes no sense whatsoever. So I believe you can buy these parts in black, probably looking around sort of 20-25 quid, which is all justifiable. They're not that expensive, but the fact that I've already got them just to change the colour just didn't really make any sense for 25 quid when I had some spray paint laying around in the garage. So I just thought it'd look a lot better that if I was to take these parts off, clean them up, and then go ahead and spray them. So cut to some B-roll of doing exactly that. So yeah, a really simple thing to change. I had some spray paint laying around, or if you're looking to do this on your bike, spray paint's what, £5 for a can. It used such a minimal amount of paint. It was literally a 20-minute mod to do, but the results I think just look so much better. Now I may have made a slight mistake here because obviously a lot of the plastics on the bike are kind of like a matte finish to them. I decided to spray these in a sort of gloss black, but they can then go over with a clear lacquer. And what that does is it just gives it a little bit of shine, makes it a little bit more glossy. It does also protect them as well. So any sort of debris from the road, stone chips and stuff like that, that should hopefully stop the paint from chipping. But the results just speak for themselves. It looks so much better in black. I just don't know why they didn't do this from factory. And I get it if you're buying a normal Sur-Ron Ultra V, but I would have just thought that they've gone through all these extra steps to make this black edition. Why have they not put these black plastic on the bike? Now, whilst we're talking about the plastics on the bike, There's another part of a Sur-Ron. Again, I just don't understand why they do this, and in my eyes, I just don't like the look of it. So the third thing that I hate about the Sur-Ron Ultra V, and this pretty much goes for every Sur-Ron you're going to buy, is the motor cover. Now, every Sur-Ron I've owned, obviously they put a motor cover that goes over the belt drive. Completely understandable, it protects the belts, and it protects everything that goes onto the actual motor itself. The plastic they use on this motor cover is black, but then they put this stupid little insert that goes inside it. It's like a two-part plastic that just screws on the inside of this motor cover. And they always make it this really naff looking sort of greeny yellow colour. I've had it on both of my light Bs, and again when I bought this as well, it's something that just stands out. It doesn't match anything on the bike. Again, being a black edition, don't know why they just don't change this over to black. In fact, I don't know why they choose this colour in general, because it generally doesn't really match any of the decals that the stock Sur-Ron comes with. The only thing I can think of is the fact that when you buy a light B, the stock calipers on a light B have a very similar sort of anodized greeny yellow sort of colour to them. Maybe they're just trying to match it in with that, I'm not too sure. But again, for me personally, it's not a colour that I want on the bike. Being the black edition, I think it would have just been a really cool little feature if they had just blacked that out as well. So again, with the rattle can, I've decided to attack this as well. Really, really simple to do. Nice, easy mod. Again, only took me sort of 10-15 minutes. Just a case of taking the motor cover off, laying it down on the bench, and then just unscrewing this insert that goes into the side of the motor cover. Gave it all a quick clean up, a couple times over with a rattle can, and then let that to dry for about 15-20 minutes. Now, I didn't decide to put any lacquer on this one because, actually, I don't have a reason, I just didn't do it. I think once I'd sprayed the mounts for the bash guard, I wasn't too sure on it. Actually, now they're on the bike, I do think it looks really nice. I kind of like the gloss and the matte sort of contrast. But as this was fitting directly back into the motor cover, I just left them as a sort of a matte finish. And then quite simply just screwed it all back up and popped it back onto the bike. And again, I just think it looks so much better. Much more stealthy, much more fit into the black edition, and a very, very simple, easy mod to do just to complete that sort of section of the bike. Moving on to the fourth thing that I hate about the Sur-Ron Ultra V, and again, this probably goes for the Light B and most other eMotos on the market at the moment, and that is the foot pegs. I just can't understand why companies spend all this money on all these lovely parts for the bike, but then when it comes to the foot peg, they just put these really cheap, nasty looking bendable foot pegs on these bikes. Again, I feel with the black edition that would have been another really nice feature. It's a bit of a USP that everything's blacked out, including the foot pegs. Even if they just had the same foot peg but made them black, that would have been at least something. But I have got some on order, but hopefully we should have those in the next couple of days, just to kind of finish that sort of bottom section. Now that we've got the black plastics on there, that should just sort of finish that off and hopefully match in with some of the other parts like the wheels as well. Now, moving on to the fifth and final thing that I hate about the Sur-Ron Ultra V, and this is probably more directed to the L1E or the L3E that they call it, the road legal version, and that is the number plate mount. Again, it's kind of like they've designed this absolutely awesome looking bike. They then turn around and gone, right, we need to make this road legal. Yeah, let's put some indicators on, that's fine, yeah, cool. Okay, we need to put the number plate somewhere. Right, just get a bit of plastic and just have it sticking miles out from the back and yeah, just smash that on there, yeah, that'll be fine. I just think it looks absolutely awful. I will admit, I don't think it's quite as bad as the Sur-Ron Light B's number plate mount that goes over the back wheel. I'm not a massive fan of that at all. But I just find the one that comes with the Ultra B, like, is there any reason why it needs to be that long and stick out so far? It's just an absolute eyesore. I'm not a fan of it at all. I mean, luckily enough, when I bought this is the road legal version, but the guy that I bought it from didn't have that when he sold it to me. God knows what had happened to it, so I never had it. But obviously then I had to start looking into something because I do need to mount my number plate to this, and obviously that was an option. The other thing I find with the stock one that these come with is they're so fucking expensive as well. Like, I don't know how they're getting away charging that amount of money for something that looks that shit. Obviously you can buy them on places like AliExpress and things like that for a lot cheaper, but you're going to have to wait to 2027 to be able to receive it. So I went for something just a little bit neater, a little bit tidier. In fact, it is called a tail tidy for that exact reason. A little bit more stealthy. It sits nicely right underneath the back of the seat. It uses all the OEM fixings as well, so there's no modifications needed. All the bolt holes line up perfectly. The particular one that I bought, you've still got all the mountings for the indicators, for the rear light and everything like that. It also comes with the little flip plate as well. Not that I will ever use that because I am a responsible, respectable member of society. So we definitely won't be using that feature when we're out riding. But if you wanted to, this particular one comes with that. So there we are then, guys. That's the 5 things that I hate about the Sur-Ron Ultra B. And let's be honest, in the grand scheme of things, it's not actually that bad. In the next video, I am going to do 5 things that I absolutely love about that. I might even do 10 things because there are so many positive and great things about this bike that I absolutely love. So stay tuned for that video coming out in the next couple of weeks. But let me know in the comments, are there any things that you don't like about the Sur-Ron Ultra B? Let me know what you think of the look of the bike now I've done those kind of little adjustments to it. But as always, thank you ever so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't done already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.